All right, today I will be reading A Place for Frogs. The genre is informational text, which means it is going to be filled with facts. And I apologize right now if my dogs start barking. They've been in a weird mood today. All right. Paragraph 1. Frogs make our world a better place, but sometimes people do things that make it hard for them to live and grow. If we work together to help these special creatures, there will always be a place for frogs. Now, in this different color, I'm going to consider that a sidebar, which means it's going to give us extra information to the story. A frog's life. As frogs grow, they go through 4 life stages. After mating, a female frog lays eggs in a wet place. When a tiny tadpole breaks out of its egg, it spends most of its time eating and growing. Soon the tadpole begins to develop legs. Its tail shrinks and it starts breathing air. The froglet, which is a baby frog, hops onto land. It grows quickly and loses its tail. When it becomes a full-grown frog, it is ready to find a mate. So here's the life cycle of, it starts in this right here, all the way around. For frogs to survive, they need to stay safe and healthy. Some frogs are harmed by poisons used to kill insects. These are also called insecticides. When people stop spraying these dangerous chemicals, frogs can live and grow. And here we have another sidebar. This is about the California red-legged frog. Because frogs have thin skin, they are very sensitive to human-made chemicals. When people in Northern California sprayed poisons to kill insects that harm crops, many California red-legged frogs died too. In 2006, the Center for Biological Diversity forced people to stop using the chemicals that harm frogs. Now scientists are hoping the frogs can make a comeback. It means come back into a good population. And I'm going to have to pause it because my dog's in my... All right. So here we are. Some tadpoles, which are the baby frogs, these are the frogs that might have legs start to grow or have little bitty legs. They are harmed by chemicals farmers use to make crops grow bigger and stronger. When farmers and scientists find new ways to improve their crops, frogs can live and grow. And this sidebar is about the northern leopard frog. In 1995, students in Henderson, Minnesota, found frogs with deformed legs at a local pond. Deformed means they are not formed correctly. Maybe they look really small or large or in a weird shape. It took scientists many years to figure out what was wrong. When fertilizers, which is what they put on plants to make them grow really big, from fields, so when these fertilizers from the fields drained into the pond, the population of tiny flatworms exploded. Okay, so fertilizer goes into the pond, flatworms start coming from everywhere, these worms. The worms burrowed into the tadpole's body. So burrowed would be like they dug a hole and went into their skin. So here we go again. Fertilizer into the water. Then those worms like that fertilizer. There's a lot of worms that start living there. These worms start digging into the baby frogs' bodies, and their legs could not develop normally. Ugh, sounds horrible. Now that scientists understand the problem, they are searching for a solution. All right. Some frogs lay their eggs in shallow, which means not deep, ponds. The eggs can be damaged by too much sunlight. When people find ways to block some of the sun's harmful rays, frogs can live and grow. I'm making a connection to sunscreen. Just like when it's summer and you're out at noon, you're going to need to put that sunscreen on. And that blocks the sun's light from harming your body. In the winter, you don't need that as much because the sun is not as close to us as that. However, just remember, shallow means not deep, so not deep water, which means the sun can get into it very easily. So these sun rays are harming these eggs. So the western toad. In the 1960s, people began using chemicals called CFCs in refrigerators and air conditioners. As the CFCs rose into the sky, they destroyed part of the Earth's atmosphere that blocked the sun's harmful rays. Super strong sunlight killed many developing western toad tadpoles before they hatched. So these sun rays, just by them having the eggs out in the sun, the eggs were killed. So there was no way they could hatch. In 1995, CFCs were banned, which means they were not allowed to be used anymore. By 2003, Earth's atmosphere had begun to block more sunlight. So the CFCs they stopped using them, and the atmosphere was now starting to get better. Scientists hope that it's not too late to save the western toads. Some frogs have trouble surviving when people introduce new plants to a natural habitat. When people grow native plants to feed their horses and cattle, frogs can live and grow. Oregon spotted frog. As Americans moved westward in the 1800s, some of them planted reed canary grass to feed their animals. Okay, so this is reed canary grass. This is what it looks like. It grew so thick that Oregon spotted frogs had trouble finding places to lay their eggs. Soon the frogs were almost gone. Now that scientists know why Oregon spotted frogs are disappearing, they can remove the reed canary grass and replace it with native plants. This is a thing that we're having a lot of problems with here in Indiana. There are plants that are not supposed to be here, and they are taking over other plants and causing some of these things to die, these plants and animals to die that we need in our ecosystem. I'm going to stop the video at this time, and then the next video will be a part 2.